Welcome to video 3. So as we discussed at the end of video 2, using a recursive formula can be rather tedious when we look for large numbers. For example, the 100th term or the 200th term, because you would have to find every single term that came before them before you could use the recursive formula to actually find that number. Thankfully, as I mentioned, we do have another method for doing that, a formula that does not require the previous term. And that formula is going to be called the explicit formula. Sorry, there we go. And the explicit formula for a sequence is as follows. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus parentheses n minus 1 parentheses d. So again, this is on your formula sheet, so let's break down what each of these pieces mean. So a sub n is still going to represent our current term, the term that we're looking for. A sub 1, if you remember from the first video, represents the first term. And is going to be our index, which is going to represent the number that we are looking, or the number of the term. And then our letter D is still going to represent the common difference. So let's take a look at an example. Again, the first thing we're going to want to do is to find out what that common difference is going to be. So I'm going to do 6 minus 3, that gives me 3. 9 minus 6 gives me 3. 12 minus 9 gives me 3. And 15 minus 12 gives me 3. So my common difference is going to be 3. I also am going to need my first term in the sequence, which was this 3. That was the first number that was listed out. And I'm going to plug those into the formula. So I'm going to plug in the formula. I still don't know what my current term is because I haven't been given a specific term to look for yet. So I'm just going to leave that as a sub n. But I'm going to replace the a sub 1 with what our first term was, which in this case was 3. I'm going to do a plus then. I'm going to have parentheses. I'm going to leave it as n minus 1 for now until I have a term that I'm actually looking for. And then I'm going to replace the letter D with our common difference. So what I need to do now is to simplify. So this 3 is outside the parentheses, so I'm going to multiply it back through the parentheses that came before it. So that's going to give me a sub n is equal to 3 plus 3n minus 3. What I do now is combine like terms. Positive 3 and the negative 3 are going to cancel each other out. So that will just give me with a sub n is equal to 3n. So this would be our explicit formula. Now we were also asked to find our 7th term and our 20th term. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit so that I have a little bit more room. I'm going to jump down below these U tries. And I want to find the 7th term and I want to find the 20th term. Now remember, with the recursive formula, to be able to find the 7th term, I had to find the 6th term first. With the explicit formula, all I have to do is to plug in the number of the term that we're looking for, n for n. So a sub 7, I'm going to write out my explicit formula, 3n, but instead of the n, I'm going to put the term number I'm looking for, which in this case was 7. So then I just have to simplify, and a sub 7 would equal 21. I was able to figure that out without having to go back through any of the previous terms. It would be the same thing with a sub 20. This time, since we're looking for the 20th term, instead of plugging in 7, we would plug in 20. So a sub 20 would equal 3 times 20, which is 60. And we're able to quickly find what that 20th term was. So the big advantage to this is that we are able to jump straight to the number instead of having to work back through the previous ones. So again, these formulas are both on your formula sheet. The important thing on this is knowing what you need to plug in where. That's the part that you'll need to memorize. I encourage you guys, as you're studying this, to look over this little diagram that we've included that Coach Brock made for us. It really does a good job of summarizing what you need to plug in on each of the formulas and where those numbers come from. Alright, so you do have 2 U-Try videos. Go ahead and, or not U-Try videos, U-Try problems. Go ahead and attempt those, and then we'll see you in the next video. See you guys then.